Babylon 5 is the fifth and final space station constructed by Earth Alliance's Babylon project. The station is located in neutral territory in the Epsilon Eridani star system and became operational in the year 2257. A self-sufficient city floating in space, the station employs 6,500 personnel and 1,500 guild dock workers. Babylon 5 stretches 5 miles in length and weighs in excess of 2.5 million metric tons. The station layout is divided into color-coded sectors, with each section serving a different purpose. Located in the bow of the station, Blue Sector serves as the docking area for Babylon 5. 60 regular and low-gravity docking bays are designed to accommodate ships of various sizes and configurations. All arriving passengers, diplomats, and station personnel must pass through customs, which is run by station security staff. Blue Sector is also home to the CNC, which functions as the station's center of operations. Red Sector functions as the main business center on Babylon 5. Guests can visit the Zocalo, the station's main marketplace, or purchase goods and services in the other shops and boutiques. For those in search of entertainment, Red Sector has numerous hotels, bars, and casinos. Red Sector contains vast gardens, which, in addition to their aesthetic beauty, also serve the practical purpose of generating oxygen for the station. The center section of Babylon 5, Green Sector, houses the diplomatic chambers and personal quarters for the station's many delegates. Green Sector also supports the multi-environment Alien Sector that can generate varying atmospheres and alter gravity to fit the specific needs of certain species. To ensure the health of everyone on Babylon 5, several of the station's high-tech med labs are located in Green Sector. Brown Sector houses the industrial works that operate life support, recycling, and waste reclamation systems for the station. Commonly referred to as Down Below, Brown Sector is also home to the Lurkers, lost souls who traveled to Babylon 5 with hopes for a better life, but did not have enough money to leave when they were unable to find work. Brown Sector is a dangerous place where crime and illegal activities go relatively unchecked. Station guests and diplomats are cautioned not to visit Down Below without an armed security escort. Comprising most of the rear half of the station, yellow and gray sectors function to generate the station's power and support systems and are typically off-limits to non-essential station personnel. The station's primary fusion core is housed in Yellow Sector, while Gray Sector contains the rotation drivers that spin portions of the station to create artificial gravity. Due to budget cutbacks, portions of Gray Sector remain unfinished. Accessing file. Subject: Gray Council. The Gray Council serves as the ruling body of the Minbari Federation. Originally created a millennium ago by the Minbari leader Valen, the Gray Council is comprised of 9 members with 3 representatives each from the warrior, religious, and worker castes. In their secret chamber aboard a Minbari warship, the Gray Council debates and makes decisions that affect the entire Minbari race and possibly the rest of the universe. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Psy-Corps. The Psy-Corps is a government-sanctioned organization that locates and trains telepaths for use in commercial and military endeavors. Once a telepath is detected among the general population, they must either join the Corps or take powerful drugs to suppress their natural abilities. The psionic police, known as the Psy-Cops, are a specially trained group of high-level telepaths who monitor the activities of all other telepaths in and out of the Corps. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Soul Hunters. Soul Hunters are a race of humanoids who gather the spirits of dying aliens, capturing their life force at the moment of death. Soul Hunters use a collecting device that snares the living essence, encasing it in an orb known as a soul stone. Soul Hunters typically travel alone, always keeping their soul collection nearby. The arrival of a soul hunter is always a source of dread and a forewarning of death. While most races consider the actions of the soul hunters to be sacrilegious, the Soul Hunters claim they provide a necessary function, preserving the spirits of the universe's greatest beings. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Home Guard. The Home Guard is a terrorist organization whose violent hatred of non-humans goes against Babylon 5's mission of peace and tolerance. By attacking alien delegates aboard the station, the Home Guard hoped to fuel their anti-alien movement. A plot to assassinate several of Babylon 5's prominent ambassadors was foiled by Commander Sinclair. Unconfirmed sources have turned up a possible link between the Home Guard and the assassination of Earth President Luis Santiago during his Goodwill tour. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Muay. Steeped in tradition and honor, the Muay Thai is a fierce sporting event that pits fighters against each other in hand-to-hand combat. Potential fighters for the Muay Thai train under the watchful eye of the Muay Thai Do. Amateurs may challenge the reigning Muay Thai champion to combat, and once a challenge is accepted, neither participant can withdraw without sacrificing honor. Due to the risk of serious injury or death, humans are typically forbidden to participate in the Muay Thai. Earth boxer Walker Smith was the first human to successfully challenge a Muay Thai champion. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Battle of the Line. The Battle of the Line represented the bloodiest conflict during the Earth-Minbari War. Earth forces launched a massive offensive against the advancing Minbari fleet, but met with disastrous results. On the verge of complete victory, the Minbari suddenly surrendered, thus ending the war. To date, the Minbari Federation has given no explanation for this action. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Babylon 1 through 4. The Babylon project has been fraught with disasters since its inception. Babylon Stations 1, 2, and 3 fell prey to acts of sabotage during their construction. Station Babylon 4 disappeared 24 hours after becoming operational. 4 years later, Babylon 4 briefly reappeared, emerging from what survivors claim to be some form of time warp. Transports were able to evacuate the remaining personnel, but little more was learned before the station disappeared once more into a temporal vortex. Its current whereabouts are unknown. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Epsilon 3. Babylon 5 orbits Epsilon 3, a barren planet long thought to be uninhabited. A recent seismic survey mission from the station, however, activated a series of planetary defenses. Commander Sinclair then discovered a vast subterranean complex and a lone caretaker who watches over the remains of an ancient civilization. The caretaker is cybernetically linked to the planet's systems and defenses until the day arrives when a sufficiently advanced race will be permitted to take possession of Epsilon 3 and its secrets. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Alien races. Given its mission of furthering relations between humans and aliens, it is no surprise that a significant portion of Babylon 5's population at any one time is comprised of alien races. In addition to the Narn, Vorlons, Minbari, and Centauri, countless other alien races can be seen in the station's corridors and common areas. Several smaller races have joined together, forming the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, which serves along with the 5 major races on the Babylon 5 Advisory Council. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Shadows. Little information exists about the ancient race known as the Shadows. This warlike species thrives on chaos and almost conquered known space a millennium ago before being defeated and driven back to their homeworld. Shadow vessels are armed with an awesome array of firepower and employ a form of stealth technology that hides them from their intended prey until just before the moment of attack. The apparent reappearance of the Shadows and their human envoy, Mr. Morden, is cause for alarm among all civilized species. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Commander Jeffrey Sinclair. A man of strong convictions, Babylon 5 Commander Jeffrey Sinclair takes his job very seriously. Although he must contend with squabbling delegates and diplomatic responsibilities, Sinclair's primary concern is for the safety of the station and its inhabitants. Born on the Mars colony, Sinclair is a decorated fighter pilot and a survivor of the legendary Battle of the Line. During this battle, Sinclair's ship was captured and he was interrogated by the Minbari. Sinclair says he has no knowledge of the 24 hours between his capture and release. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Lieutenant Commander Susan Ivanova. A native of St. Petersburg, Russia, Lieutenant Commander Susan Ivanova serves as second in command on Babylon 5. In addition to handling day-to-day operations, she is also an excellent pilot and leads Star Fury squadrons in defense of the station. Ivanova has been forced to cope with hardships that have plagued her personal life, including the suicide of her telepathic mother, which she blames on the Psi Corps. Although strong-willed and career-driven, Ivanova does occasionally open up to reveal her Russian sense of humor. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Security Chief Michael Garibaldi. An old friend of Sinclair's, Michael Garibaldi was handpicked by the commander to act as Babylon 5's chief of security. Born in New York City and a veteran of the Earth-Minbari War, Garibaldi has been a security officer most of his life. Garibaldi comes from a troubled past and has had recurring battles with alcoholism. While his methods and sense of humor may be unorthodox, Garibaldi knows how to handle his demanding position and gets results. No one knows more about what goes on around Babylon 5 than Garibaldi. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Dr. Stephen Franklin. A graduate of Harvard University, Dr. Stephen Franklin turned to medicine after an alien doctor saved his father's life. Before joining Earth Force during the Earth-Minbari War, Dr. Franklin hitchhiked around the galaxy, exchanging his services for transport. Dr. Franklin will do anything to save a patient's life, and his strong sense of ethics often causes friction with his superiors. When it comes to xenobiology, however, Dr. Franklin is unsurpassed in his field, making him an invaluable addition to Babylon 5. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Talia Winters. Telepath Talia Winters never knew her parents, having been raised by the Psi Corps since she was 5 years old. Classified as level P5, Talia became a commercial telepath, and Babylon 5 represents her first solo assignment. Talia sells her services to visiting dignitaries and businessmen, occasionally helping out Commander Sinclair in negotiations. Like many telepaths, she has had difficulty developing relationships with others due to their apprehension toward her special abilities. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Ambassador Delenn. Babylon 5's official representative from the Minbari Federation, Ambassador Delenn is a member of the religious caste and part of the Grey Council. Years ago, Delenn witnessed the death of the Minbari leader Dukat and cast the deciding vote that led to the Earth-Minbari War. Delenn's true reasons for serving as a lowly ambassador on Babylon 5 are unclear, although her fascination with humans is well known. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Ambassador Jakar. Acting as Babylon 5's ambassador from the Narn regime, Jakar has an intense hatred for the Centauri, and Ambassador Londo in particular, due to their former brutal occupation and enslavement of the Narn homeworld. Jakar is a highly religious Narn and an avid student of the teachings of Jaquan. A cold, calculating strategist, Jakar takes pride in his abilities to turn every situation to his advantage. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Ambassador Londo Mollari. The station's delegate from the Centauri Republic, Ambassador Londo Mollari considers Babylon 5's mission to be a waste of time. Londo spends most of his time chasing females and frequenting the station's bars and casinos. Like many Centauri, Londo longs for the past and would do anything in order for his race to regain their former glory. Londo believes he saw his death in a dream and will die while strangling his bitter rival, Jakar. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Ambassador Kosh Neranek. Serving as the emissary from the Vorlon Empire, Ambassador Kosh Neranek is an enigmatic being. His appearance is concealed by an all-encompassing encounter suit, and he typically speaks in riddles. Kosh and his fellow Vorlons are an ancient race and played an important role in the defeat of the Shadows a millennium ago. As stated by Kosh, the Vorlons have little interest in the affairs of other races, and his objectives on Babylon 5 remain a mystery to everyone but himself. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Star Fury. Babylon 5's strongest means of defense is the Star Fury, a one-person fighter featuring an X-foil design. The station employs several Cobra bays, each capable of launching numerous Star Furies at a moment's notice. Designed specifically for zero-gravity combat, the Star Fury can rotate 180 degrees in 1 second, positioning the pilot to fire the ship's deadly pulse discharge cannons. In the event of serious damage, the pilot can jettison the cockpit away from the fuselage. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Jump gate. Jump gates are immense machines that create openings called jump points to and from hyperspace, allowing ships to quickly travel the vast distances between stars and planets. While some larger vessels can generate the tremendous power necessary to form their own jump points, smaller ships must rely on the stationary jump gate and its vortex generator to punch a hole into hyperspace. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Earth Alliance vessels. Earth Alliance vessels are frequent visitors to Babylon 5. Cargo ships transport a wide variety of goods and supplies, while passenger liners ferry visitors to and from the station on a regular basis. Military ships of Earth Force may travel to Babylon 5 during routine patrols or whenever a show of force is necessary. Even Earth's president has journeyed to the station, traveling aboard his personal transport, Earth Force 1. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Alien vessels. Functioning as a diplomatic and commercial port of call, Babylon 5 plays host to vessels of all shapes and sizes, and from nearly every spacefaring race in the known universe. All alien ships are welcome to visit Babylon 5, provided their intentions are peaceful. Approaching spacecraft must gain clearance from the C&C before they can access one of the station's docking bays. End file. Accessing file. Subject: Raiders. A continuing threat to the shipping lanes around Babylon 5, the raiders are pirates who ambush unsuspecting transports, stealing their cargo. The deadly raiders' ships are designed for both space and atmospheric combat. While overmatched by the more maneuverable Star Fury, raider fighters are capable of crippling most cargo vessels. In order to surprise their targets with hit-and-run attacks, the raiders utilize a command and control ship capable of generating its own jump points. End file.